Something happened at the US Mint in 2005 that most people never noticed. A routine year of production that produced millions of ordinary pennies. And yet tucked among them were a few small surprises that could stop a collector cult. Today I'll take you through the story of the 2005 Lincoln Cent. What it was supposed to be, the production quirks that produced collectible varieties, how to spot them, and what steps to take if you think you've found something special. Back in 2005, the Lincoln penny was the everyday coin you use for parking meters and vending machines. Physically, it's the modern small cent, about 19 millimeters across, light, and built with a zinc core covered by a thin copper plate. That construction matters. Unlike the old solid bronze pennies of earlier generations, the zinc core and thin copper layer change how these coins wear and how errors show up. It's the technical backdrop to everything that makes the 2005 penny ordinary or interesting. Let's set the scene. The intended design was familiar. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse was the date in the mint and the Lincoln Memorial, of course. The mint struck these coins in massive quantities for circulation at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities and produced collector versions in other facilities with different finish priorities. Because the mint's attention in modern years is often split between collector sets and mass circulation. Some circulation strikes can be softer or show surface quirks. Those production conditions are exactly what can create collectible varieties. Double dies, die clashes, off-center strikes, and the like. So what errors or varieties actually show up on 2005 pennies? And which of those are worth paying attention to? The ones that truly matter are those that change the visual character of the coin in a clear, repeatable way. First, double dies. A double die occurs when the die used to strike coins receives a doubled image during hovering, the process that transfers the design to the die. On a double die penny, you may notice doubling on the date or on important lettering like Liberty or I in God We Trust. Sometimes that doubling is dramatic and easy to see. Sometimes it's subtle, just a shadowing of the edge letters. Genuine double-die varieties are among the most collectible modern errors, but the value depends entirely on how strong and scarce the letter is. Second, die clashes and ghost images. Dies can collide and transfer parts of one design to another when not fully seated, which can leave faint or sometimes strong ghost images on a struck coin. A common diagnostic for Lincoln cents is when parts of the memorial appear oddly strong near Lincoln's cheek or shoulder on the obverse, or when unexpected lines and shapes ghost across the face of the coin. These make for interesting conversation pieces, and the more pronounced and unusual the clash, the more collectors take notice. Third, mechanical errors, off-center strikes, flip planchets, and broad strikes. These are the dramatic, obvious mistakes. The design is shifted and a portion of the coin is missing or doubled, or the coin appears stretched. Large, clean off-center strikes that still include the full date and recognizable details can command significant collector value. Smaller offsets often bring only modest premiums, but the eye-catching larger ones are the ones that make headlines. Fourth, mint mark oddities such as repunched mint marks or double mint marks are rarer on 2005 cents. But they do appear from time to time. With modern minting, these are often curiosities, sometimes valuable, sometimes just an interesting footnote. And again, condition and scarcity determine value. Now, let me give you a practical guide. What to do when you hold a 2005 penny and your eye says, that looks odd. Start with a close inspection. Use a 5x, 10x loop, or a macro camera shot on your phone. Look at the date first, and then the major lettering. Liberty and I in God We Trust. Tilt the coin under a light and watch for doubling, shadows, ghost lines, or doubled serifs on letters. Check the reverse for unusually strong columns or unexpected lines behind the coin. That's where clash marks often show up. Finally, examine the rim. Are there clipped sections, or is the outline skewed? Is part of the design missing? Those are the big, obvious mechanical errors. If you find something that looks promising, follow 3 practical steps. 1. Document it with clear photographs, obverse, reverse, and close-ups of the date and the oddities. 2. Compare those photographs to community references and experienced collectors, online coin forums, reputable numismatic communities or a trusted local coin dealer can help identify whether it's a known variety or something that's coming. 3. If the community response is "this is interesting," consider professional authentication and grading. A certified opinion from a respected grading service can be the difference between a curiosity and a coin with a real market value. Be realistic about money. Most 2005 Lincoln cents are worth face value or only a few cents, even in common uncirculated grades. Modest premiums attach for uncirculated red-brown examples and small errors. Only verified, dramatic varieties, strong double dyes, large certified off-center strikes, or unusually crisp dye flashes in mid-state bring substantial premiums. Even then, condition and provenance matter. A dramatic error in mid-state and verified by a major grading service is the scenario that produces collectible prices. Here are a few collector tips from one practical enthusiast to another. If you're sorting jars of pennies, keep a small loop and a good light nearby. Most significant finds happen to people who actually look closely. Treat online listings with caution. Many sellers overstate rarity and value, and seek a second opinion before committing to sales or purchases. Remember that provenance, condition, and certification are the 3 pillars of coin value. The same physical coin can be worth vastly different amounts depending on those factors. A word on grading. Even if you think you have an unusual error, certification matters. Wild claims on the internet don't sell as well as a slab, graded coin with a verified attribution. If you're unsure whether the piece is worth grading, ask an experienced dealer or forum member. Often they'll help you judge whether the coin is a candidate for submission. Quick identification checklist to keep in your pocket. 1. Doubling on date or letters. 2. Unexpected ghost images or strong lines from die clash. 3. Off-center strike or clip planchette. 4. Unusual mint mark appearance. 5. Quality and color of strike. An uncirculated red coin with a clear error is better than a corroded example. If you'd like, I can take a look at photos of the coin you have and manage what matters. Or if you prefer, I can deep dive into one specific 2005 variety, showing descriptive images, auction examples, and exact identifying traits. And we'll walk step by step through how experts authenticate it. Your call. Photograph a coin, and I'll help you read it, or tell me which path you prefer, and I'll dive in. In 2010, the U.S. Mint made a historic change that quietly ended one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. For over half a century, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had defined the penny, a familiar image in every pocket, every cash register, every school lunch tray. But that year, everything changed. A brand new design emerged, the Lincoln Shield cent. It marked a new chapter, honoring Lincoln's legacy not with a monument, but with a powerful symbol of unity. And what most people didn't realize was that the first penny struck with this new design would go on to become modern rarities worth far more than 1 cent. Let's uncover the story behind the 2010 penny, the first of its kind, and one of the most intriguing coins in the entire Lincoln cent series. The dawn of the Lincoln Shield cent. For decades, collectors and historians had debated when, or if, the U.S. Mint would ever replace the Lincoln Memorial reverse. By 2009, the Mint had celebrated Lincoln's 200th birthday with 4 special bicentennial reverse designs, each depicting a different chapter of his life. When 2010 arrived, those commemorative reverses came to an end, and a new era began. Chief engraver Lyndall Bass and sculptor Joseph Mena designed the now famous Union Shield, a single, bold shield with 13 vertical stripes and a banner across the top, reading "E Pluribus Unum," out of mint coin. That shield represented the preservation of the United States during the Civil War, Lincoln's greatest achievement. And for collectors, it represented something else, a fresh start to the most collected coin in American history. Minting the first year, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. 3 U.S. mints were responsible for producing the 2010 pennies. Philadelphia, no mint mark. Denver, D. San Francisco, S. Proof strikes only. The numbers were staggering. Philadelphia struck over 2 billion, and Denver another 2.1 billion. But quantity doesn't always mean common, because within those billions of varieties, errors, and pristine condition coins that are anything but ordinary. Error varieties that make the 2010 penny rare. When a new design is introduced, the early years are ripe for minting errors. The dies are fresh, the presses are being adjusted, and mistakes are more likely. The 2010 penny is no exception. Here are the varieties and errors that transform this modern cent into a collectible worth serious money. 1. Double die obverse, DDO. Some 2010 pennies show doubling on the obverse, especially visible on the date 2010 and the word liberty. Under magnification, the numbers appear shadowed or slightly offset. Certified examples have sold from $50 to over $300, depending on clarity and grade. 2. Shield doubling, DDR. On the reverse, a handful of coins show doubling on the shield's lines or the banner letter. These are even scarcer and can reach $500 plus in high grade. 3. Offsetter strikes. Misaligned strikes are visually dramatic when part of Lincoln's portrait or the shield appears cut off. Collectors pay between $100 and $250, depending on how far off the strike is. 4. Die cracks and cuts. Cracks along the rim or chips in the shield area can bring $10 to $50 for unique shapes, especially when they appear in high-grade red coins. 5. Wrong planchet errors. Extremely rare 2010 pennies have been discovered struck on older copper planchets or on blanks meant for foreign coins. If you find one that weighs 3.1 grams instead of 2.5, you may have a copper transitional error, worth $600 to $1,000 or more when certified. Understanding the metal, zinc's role. Like all modern cents since 1982, the 2010 penny is made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating. That composition makes it cheaper to produce, but also far more fragile. Zinc cents corrode, discolor, and spot easily, which is why high-grade examples from 2010 are already getting harder to find. Collectors prize coins that retain a deep red color, what grading companies call RD, red. Once a coin loses that luster, it drops to red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, and loses value quickly. That's why the finest examples, bright red and flawless, are already commanding impressive prices. Auction highlights, real values, real proofs. Let's talk about actual sales that prove the 2010 penny surprising worth. 2010, D. Lincoln Shield Cent, graded MS, 68 red by Piece GS sold for $1,200 at Great Collections. 2010 Lincoln Cent, MS, 67 plus RD, fetched $950. 2010 S-Proof Lincoln Cent, PR, 70 Deep Cameo, sold for $400. A double die reverse 2010 P, confirmed by NGC, brought $585 in 2022. Remember, these are 1-cent coins that outperformed silver dollars in auction interest. Why the 2010 penny matters historically. The 2010 penny isn't just another modern cent. It's a turning point in U.S. coinage. It bridges two eras, the long Lincoln Memorial run and the new Shield era that continues today. This makes 2010 the first issue of an ongoing series, and firsts are always special in numismatics. Think of the first Buffalo nickel, the first Mercury dime, the first Washington quarter. All carry historical weight far beyond their face value. Collectors decades from now will look back on 2010 as the start of a defining design period. And just like those earlier series, the first year will likely remain the most desirable. Spotting a high-value 2010 penny. When you're sorting through change or rolls, here's what to look for. Comparing to previous designs. It's worth noting how dramatically the 2010 design changed collecting psychology. Before this, the Lincoln Memorial Cent had dominated for 50 years, with predictable patterns of wear, toning, and value. The Shield Cent introduced new surfaces, sharper lines, and different die behavior, making new kinds of errors and varieties possible. For collectors, this meant new discoveries. For investors, it meant a chance to get in early on a long-term series. That's why many experienced numismatists quietly stockpile rolls of 2010 Shield cents, especially uncirculated Denver and Philadelphia examples straight from bank boxes. A collector's true story. One collector from Illinois, a retired machinist, shared his story online. He had ordered several boxes of brand new 2010 pennies from his local bank, just out of curiosity. After sifting through thousands, he spotted a few with unusual doubling on the date. He sent the best one for grading, and it came back as a 2010 P double die obverse MS 67 red. The estimated auction value? Around $600. He kept it, not for profit.